Down here in the bottom left position of the map, he is representing Taiwan. He is Haas. And his opponent, up here in the top, sporting the red trunks, representing South Korea. Give it up for Dragon Phoenix Gaming's Zest. Now this is going to be an epic matchup. When we think of Zest, we think of one of those very solid, methodical players who has all of these different build orders which he can use to essentially tear you apart. He can go for these big blink openings to crush through. He can go for Stargate and just absolutely decimate any army that goes up against him. He can take it to the late game and just destroy you in a battle of attrition. Haas, he's got a lot of that same power, but he is well known for his unorthodox style. He is one of those guys that you never know what he's going to be going for, and he has definitely broken more than a few casters along his journey. So I'm going to be very excited to see how these two really sync up here. As right now we do have pretty standard starts for both sides, double gateway into Cybernetics Core. Neither side really wants to be the first one to expand, especially in PvP. The first one to expand usually has a bit of a disadvantage, especially now that the starts in Legacy of the Void are so much quicker. But yeah, looks like it's going to be stalkers for both sides here. Haas doesn't have that additional pylon yet. Gonna drop it on the low ground just a little bit slower than Zest. Now, I'm not gonna read too far into that, but you know, seconds do count in these mirror matchups. Now Zest is going to be the first one to kind of divvy himself out. He will be going for the fast Roblox facility, adding on the additional gateway. So he's got a 3-gate coming on out to deal with Haas. It looks like Haas is going to be the first one, though, to make his way across the map. Most of the stalkers for Zest are out just scouting around, looking for what they can find. And now, since Haas is going for the Twilight Council, he's giving himself a bit of a timer to do any sort of damage. And hold that thought, as we do have these stalkers taking quite a bit of damage. One of them will go down, the second soon to follow. That is an absolutely tremendous pickoff there for Zest, and that's going to allow him to be even more aggressive than he probably thought he could be able to. Yeah, Warp Gate still not done, so this shield battery not going to be too long for this world. I think Haas, he's probably going to have to just quit trying to defend on the low ground, and you can kind of see, yeah, he's just going to hang out at the top of the ramp for the time being, get out as many stalkers as possible, and try and hold on. I don't know, though, that Zest really wants to give him enough time to do so. Good pick up there from the Warpers. I'm going to keep that Stalker alive. He does not want to lose anything early on. Just going to get a couple of quick pickoffs on those shield batteries as well, making this such a difficult defense. He's relying on that sentry energy, but he just lost the rest of it. So now he is... I hate to say that this might be GG, but unfortunately, this is just looking a bit too unstoppable here. Haas with a bit of a build order loss. And one thing I didn't even kind of recognize here is that there is that little bit of a ping problem between the two servers. Taiwan and KR are on the same Asian server nowadays, so it is quite common to kind of have these little cross-server matchups where one player will maybe have about 100 ping difference. That was according to Haas. as this server went underway. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how that kind of plays out. That last game was on the Taiwan server. This one's on KR, so might make a difference, might not. These guys are top level, and they can kind of notice those small things, but I digress on that point, as we do have, once again, that kind of double gateway build. It's safe, and it also just gives you the best chance for that kind of early game aggression that we kind of saw in the last series. And you know what? Zest is going to be the one mixing it up this time. He's going to get a sentry early on, as we have a little bit of a KR bug. Apologize for that. So Zest's going to be looking to play it very, very safe in this game. He does have his second Nexus up and operational. So Haas is going to really want to look to punish that a little bit here. Just kind of make Zest regret going for such a quick expansion. As we do see those two stalkers going to be moving across the map. All he has, Zest that is sentries. So he's going to have to fight along the choke points here. First force field is pretty good, and that will keep Haas away, giving Zest time to drop his own stalkers. So now he's going to be perfectly safe, and Haas is just going to be following this up with a little bit of Stargate play. So now Haas kind of just having a bit of a soft contain here. He's going to use the Adepts to kind of keep this army away. Good block right there from the shield battery. And the biggest problem for Haas right now, he is stuck on one base. He is committing absolutely everything to this frontal attack, so he will not have that second Nexus down. As I say that, he drops the second Nexus down. Excuse me. But that is going to be so much more delayed than Zest's that it's really going to hurt him. And just by that positioning, it's going to be so hard to defend it. I don't think Haas is going to worry about that too much, though, as we do have the Hidden Twilight Council. So he is looking to just keep up this a bit of aggression as the Adepts keep the army of Zest at home. The Oracle as well going to be spotted by the imaginary Phoenix. And the Stalkers are going to be enough to kind of shoo this away. So overall, a solid defense here from Zest, but Haas going to actually go in and go for the dive. Trying to get both of the sentries, only going to get one of them, however. Loses a couple of Adepts for it, but I'd say that trade was definitely worth it, as those Adepts not really going to be too useful as the game goes on. So getting rid of a lot of that sentry energy is going to be so vital for the follow-up here from Haas. He's going for what looks to be Void Ray Dark Templar. A quite interesting choice, very gas heavy, so it's going to be interesting to see how many Dark Templars he's going to be able to get with this. But I like how Zest is now being proactive out on the map. He's recognized that he can leave his base, so he's looking for those snipes. He's looking to get rid of the Oracle to keep his base safe. And now Haas is the one kind of staying defensive while he powers back up. Actually, has Zest seen this? He has. So, no pun intended there, by the way. But he has seen this, so he does have the cannons going down in each and every single base. He's got his +1 on the way, and he will be going into that robo facility for just a little bit of extra defense here, just to make sure that he has vision everywhere. Now, Zest is a couple of workers behind, actually, in terms of that unit count, so that's going to mean just a little bit less income And again, in these kind of mirror matchups, every single little minute difference makes that much bigger of an impact on how the game goes. Now, the Dark Templars, again, aren't really going to be able to get too much done, but when coupled with this army, you can make those Archons and really just try and push through. And with 3 additional gateways, that's exactly what Haas is going to do. Sorry about that. Zesto is going to try and dive on top of that as he gets a couple of good pickoffs there, but he is going to lose a couple of the Stalkers in exchange. The Blinks are good, so he's not going to lose everything, but he does have to be careful with how he engages in here. Both sides kind of just posturing, trying to find the best angle to attack into. We do have some sentry energy here for Haas, so a Guardian Shield would be pretty nice. Some force fields as well. Looks like Zest, though, is going to look to try and just go around this army, but Haas does catch the tail end of it. The Guardian Shield goes down, but it will not last long. And now Zest is kind of on the retreat here. He's got to get back to the Warp Prism. He's taking a lot of damage, though. Haas with about a 10 army supply lead will go straight for the Prism with that blink. And now Zest in a lot of trouble, down 30 supply, or 20 supply rather. Math. Oh my goodness, this is getting better and better for Haas as time goes on. Beautiful blink micro here, going to be going down the Oracle, soaking up some of that stalker attack. And so the Stalkers of Haas are going to be able to just break through with the full surround. And it looks like Haas will be able to tie this series up. It is only a matter of time here. Zest just trying to buy some time in order to get 1 or 2 more warp buttons. But unfortunately for him, Haas does not care about it. Shield battery overcharge is popped. That will be focus fired down very, very quickly. A couple of Zealots going to be warped in to try and soak up some of that damage. But again, with that forward commanding position there, I just don't know if it's going to be enough here for Zest. Yeah, the Immortal is pretty nice. It is going to help out quite a bit. But he's just going to be able to dive right on top of that. He doesn't even care about the Zealots as much. Zest doesn't really have a lot of gas income in order to remake those Immortals. If he does just remake 1 Immortal, that's so many less Stalkers that he can utilize for this defense. Now, Haas is taking a lot of damage on these Stalkers, but with those blinks, he is able to take a very good trade here. Zest, however, is starting to hold on, and now he does have that kind of defender's advantage with that shield battery, keeping his units alive. But unfortunately for him, I don't see a way that he can really defend this third base. He's about to get surrounded here. Haas doing a little bit of a pathing error, I feel. It did slow down the reinforcements from getting into the middle of the fight here. The blinks are good from Zest to tank up some of that damage, but with the Immortal going down, and the second one so far away from this defense point, I'm just not sure. He loses the third base, and just keep in mind, during all of this, Haas is all in. There is no third on the cards for him, but as well, he's gonna have to rely on these Dark Templars to make things work. But will they be in time? A big blink forward, gonna get right on top of that Immortal. The shield battery overcharge is gonna keep it alive for a little bit longer, and that might just be the saving grace here. Haas has no detection whatsoever. And unfortunately, I'm very sorry about the lag spikes. It's a KR bug. But at the end of the day, the DTs, one of them will get picked off, but the second one, there's just not enough energy. And I mean, I think Zest is starting to do it. He's starting to like end the supply deficit. He's held on for a long time, and now his army is looking stronger and stronger. If he had kept that third base up, I would say it's almost a winning position again. But now he's gonna have to remake that. Yeah, his observer is not out just yet. Losing 3 more workers. So taking a look at the units lost tab here. Zest is a very Pyrrhic defense so far, but he's starting to make it work. Haas is going to move in once again, but he's going to have to contend with some force fields, so he cannot fight in these choke points anymore. Zest is just trying to bait him in, looking for any angle where he can get in. Now Haas is still ahead in terms of that economy, but he doesn't really have a lot of tech behind this. He's just trying to punch in with these units. And he actually doesn't have any upgrades either, so the units of Zest are going to hit that much harder. Looks like there's no detection with this army for Zest right now, however, so these DTs are going to be able to push this back and get a little bit of damage done. While the Observer comes in and finishes that out. So now Haas forced to be on the retreat, and he is going to just tap out. Looks like we are going to have a bit of the same here, as Haas will be going for the double gateway, and Zest himself will answer it. Yes, this is a best of 9. To answer your question in the chat. So it is the first to 5 victories. And I gotta say here, like, even though Haas has lost the last couple of games, the first one, you know, build order, it's a build order loss. He had a little bit of trouble in that regard, but the second game was very solid, showing his micro and his ability to kind of make Zest work for it. So just kind of knowing that means that I'm excited what he's going to be doing here, because we already do have a bit of a tricky pylon coming down here, hiding the fact that he does have it. Now, Zest sees this. And what this kind of tells him is that, hey, there is something out on the map, because at this point, if you don't see a certain number of pylons, then you know that it's got to be somewhere else. And this is actually going to be a robo facility build here from Haas. Probably looking to go for either a 3 or a 4 gate. Looks like Zest, however, is going to be making the first strike once again. Just getting out here on the map, looking for answers. Now, Haas has to be very careful to hide this, because even though this is very tricky, it is also very, very vulnerable once it is exposed. So you have to hide the fact that it's there for the longest amount of time. Looks like Zest will be dropping down his secondary nexus, and that's going to be the biggest point of contention for him. If he can keep that up, he wins, just straight out, because Haas will not be able to keep up economically. This time, though, it is Haas who gets the first big engagement here, as he does get a lot of damage done to that first Stalker of Zest. And the third gateway does complete. Looks like Zest will be getting a robo facility of his own. That could be for Immortals, could be for Warp Prism, most likely Immortals for the defense, but he is certainly looking to be ready for this, as he does have some energy as well for Guardian Shield. This is kind of the first indicator as it's outside his doorstep. So let's see if Haas can push in here. There is no Immortals just yet, but he is chronoing one out as quickly as possible. So Haas has a bit of a timer on himself. So here we go. Shield battery overcharge is popped. The force fields as well, pretty good. Gonna force Haas to retreat. And now he's really got to be careful on where he decides to engage here, as you're really not going to be able to break the front very easily. Here we go. He's going to try. A sentry does go down very quickly. Good pickoffs here for Haas, just getting through that shield battery energy. But now with the Immortal in play, yeah, this just isn't going to be able to do too much more. And again, no second Nexus. Haas going up for the dive, trying to get on top of that Mortal, taking a lot of damage to do so, however. Some good pickups from that Warp Prism. Going to save a lot of these Stalkers. And he is doing some good work here. There's not that many Stalkers left, but the health on these blue Stalkers is going in the red. So looking for the retreat here, looks like Zest has held this quite convincingly, only losing 3 workers. And I kind of like this, just the fact that he's going to try and hit on multiple fronts now. That's really all you can do as he tries to build up to his next stage of attack. Getting a couple of additional workers is definitely nice, but only getting 3 of them so far. Taking a look at the units lost tab. Doing a pretty good job, but not really getting all the pickoffs that he needs. He will get that Observer, which means no more high ground vision without putting the Warp Prism at risk. And I gotta say, this is pretty much the only comeback mechanic that makes sense at this point. You're on one base. Your opponent will start to out macro here, even though it looks like Zest is actually not focusing on rebuilding that economy because he knows that Haas is all in. So instead, just playing it very cautious, saving up his money to get these hard-hitting units. Even going to send these Immortals across the map to attack. Haas is starting to run out of money as well. So this is going to be his last big-ditch effort, as he does get rid of the shield batteries very, very quickly. But the defense is going to be on the high ground. The Disruptor being very patient right now, as he does not want to lose that early. That is the only thing he has going for him. Gonna try and ferry it to the high ground, but not gonna get the shot off. And that is going to be it. In the top left position, he needs your energy and he needs your power. Give it up for the terror of Taiwan. He is Haas. And his opponent down here, he is one of the Shields of Ire and the tip of the spear, representing his country of South Korea. Give it up for the best. It's Zest. And now we do see, looks like Haas is going to kind of pull off the gas a little bit here. Instead, just going to be going for one in each geyser, which will allow him to kind of have a little bit of extra minerals in the bank. So if he does decide to expand, that is going to help him out quite a bit. But other than that, a lot more of the same. Double gateway, cybernetics core, and yeah, Zest is going to be mining a lot more gas, so that kind of tells me that maybe he wants to be a little bit more aggressive. I want to see a late game PvP. Well, unfortunately, you picked the wrong player for that. Speed, please. I'm sorry, can you elaborate for speed? But, yeah, getting back into the game. We do have a Stargate on the way. Zest is going to be blocking the natural nexus of Haas for a little bit of time. As we do also have that shield battery coming up. And Zest's own nexus is already down and ready to go. Beautiful little block right there, but unfortunately is going to lose one of those sentries. He does get the force field off, trapping these adepts, but that might be a double-edged spear here, as one, Haas is able to get out of it, and second, he got some damage done to the sentry. Even going to try and go in for a second glance. Might have been a mistake right there, but he is going to have a little bit of help coming on in, and the probe is out of position, so he will be able to get in here. Going to try and focus fire down these sentries. The energy has been used up. Now he's going to get right on top of the mineral line. This is great news for Haas right now. He's going to take a very big economic advantage. Now the Oracle is going to come in looking for a little bit of additional, but the Stalkers are in position. So kind of take a look at that battle report here. 2 sentries and 6 probes going down for only 3 adepts. That is definitely a trade I'll take any day of the week. This is more like the Haas that I want to see. This is a beautiful position here for this 3 gate. Unfortunately for him, though, the wall is not down, so he is forced to do a defensive warp in of adepts, losing 2 workers here. This is going to be a little bit tricky for him to take care of. Back over on Zest side of the map, he is not moving in either, so he is giving a lot of time to Zest, who is going for the blink play. Looks like a total of 6 workers going down, so 7 worker difference here for Zest. Now Haas, again, he's kind of putting himself in that position where he has a timer to get in here and do some damage, as these Stalkers going to shoo away the Oracles. Don't want to lose those too early on. Now, this is still a scary attack from Haas, but he just made it so that his blink is on a little bit of a cooldown now. It's just small mistakes from Haas here, but he will be able to dive right on top of this. Will this be enough? The sentries go down very, very quickly here, and the Stalkers not being focused, but they will start to fall. The Oracle adding in just a little bit of additional damage. And the workers are starting to pile up here as Haas is crushing his way through, giving himself a game in this series. After a tremendous 4-gate all-in, spawning down here in the bottom right position of Blackburn. Give it up for Haas. And his opponent down here in the bottom left position. He is Zest. Sapo man, you must be a psychic, because we do have the Forge on down. This is one of Haas's favorite maps to Cannon Rush. This is an absolutely crazy build. Hiding that probe in the top side as well. Just gonna make this look like a normal scout timing, but this is anything but normal. The pylon wall has begun, so Zest is gonna have to be on damage control here. He does get it down, and Zest did decide to go for a gateway on the low ground. So this is about as bad as it can get for our red Protoss player. He's gonna lose his additional gateway. Now, this isn't completely the end of the world for Zest here. He will have that Zealot out, so after getting rid of those probes, those additional probes, he should have a decent time just kind of mitigating the damage. As I kind of stuttered through that statement. But yeah, you see, he's going to get rid of the pylon, so that photon cannon's not really going to be able to do too much, but Haas, with a very skillful block right there, going to be able to keep that alive for an even longer time. I don't know if that pylon is in position to power that up. So we'll have to see. The Stalker does manage to get out and instantly heading to the high ground here. As, yeah, Zest just kind of has to scramble for a defense, but it is going to be enough in the bottom, top right position of Beckett Industries. Give it up for Haas. And his opponent in the bottom left position of the map, he is Zest. Wait, am I missing a map or two? Hang on. So my math might be wrong. Did we only play 5 maps? Okay, before I confuse myself here, we are going to get into the double gateway production of both side. Yeah, double gateway production on both the Cybernetics Corps. And we'll have to see who is going to be the first one to expand. Zest has been the one to be a bit more proactive about it, as Haas has kind of stuck with the good old Cheddary. Yeah, my brain has definitely shut down tonight, so I apologize for these kind of small delays. I was casting some series earlier for the YouTube channel, and also just studying all day, so my brain is dead. That's why I'm so confused right now. But Zest does drop down a pylon here, just trying to slow down the economy of Haas, as we do have the first couple of Stalkers going to be breaking out of Haas's base. Zest once again going to be going for the more defensive build here. He's going to be dropping down that Nexus relatively soon, as soon as he has the minerals for it. He did just want to drop a couple of additional Stalkers because he did get that Sentry to allow him to get that extra hallucination energy up. And yeah, it looks like Haas is going to expand, but we do have the Twilight Council behind it for that potential blink situation here. A little bit of a lag spike, apologize for that. Here we go. Zest is the first one to kind of move out, using the force fields, trying to keep Haas away from that shield battery. He does have a lot of energy, and he does catch one of these stalkers, but will lose one of his own. And that is a trade that is definitely going to help out Haas. Gonna go straight for the kills here, forcing the recall. He will lose one of the sentries, but that was a very good engagement for Haas right there. Actually, never mind. It was a not the best trade. Now Zest is going to be the one going a little bit more cheeky as he does drop down a Dark Shrine. Even going to catch the pylon going on down up there. So this is quite the odd situation here, but this is one thing that I notice about Haas, and I think you guys have noticed it too. He likes to put this kind of timer on himself. Like with these builds, Blink is obviously super powerful, but with how late this is hitting, there's already going to be an Immortal. There's going to be a ton of energy on these sentries for both Guardian Shield and Force Fields. So it makes a retreat very, very difficult. And yeah, he's going to have to rely on the upgrade advantage while he does kind of power up, get that robo facility of his own. Now Zest does have that hidden pylon down here to drop the DTs. And here we go. First one is coming on in. Let's see how much it can get done before there's an observer out. Oh, it might not be able to finish. The second one does not finish, but unfortunately, it is just a little bit too much. The first couple of swipes is enough